Well, thank you everyone for joining us for today's PPMA's Excellent in People Management Awards Showcase webinar. My name is Grace Ogden and I'm the Business and Marketing Coordinator for PPMA. And leading today's session will be Amanda George and Tracy Long from Bath and North East Somerset Council, and they're presenting their entry for Best Workplace Transformation Change Initiative, which they won. Before we start this 30-minute session, can I just ask you all to ensure that you're on mute during the presentation? The session is being recorded, but only the speakers' videos will be shown in the recording, so please feel free to put your cameras on if you wish. And please pop any questions you may have during the session in the chat box, and we will try and get to them all at the end if time allows. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Amanda and Tracy.
Lovely, thanks ever so much, Grace. So as Grace said, my name's Amanda George, and I'm the Director of Business Change and Customer Services at Bath and North East Somerset Council. And I'm joined today by Tracy Long, who's the Head of Customer Access and Improvement at the Council, and she led this programme of work. So we're here today to talk to you about how the redesign of the interior of our main office building in Keynsham near Bristol transformed our ways of working. So the council had for some time been reviewing the way we work. In common with lots of organisations, the pandemic really accelerated the progress of these plans and really forced us to take a good look at our office accommodation strategy and rationalise our office estate, with the majority of staff working flexibly, mostly at home, from March 2020. In June 2020, we conducted a staff survey and we asked staff how they felt about working flexibly in the future and what they'd like to use the Keynsham Civic Centre for. Now, 85% of staff felt they could work flexibly in the future, in comparison with only 33% prior to lockdown. And the majority of staff said that they had a safe and comfortable place to work at home. So we felt quite confident that a blended working approach would work. 84% of staff said that collaboration with their team and with other teams at the council, along with having team meetings, were really the most important reasons for coming into the office. So with this in mind, in July 2020, the decision was taken to streamline the corporate estate and to change the workplace for most of our staff based in offices in Bath to Keynsham Civic Centre. And the vision was really for the council to create an office building fit for the future, which would support more efficient service delivery, increase efficiency and productivity, promote flexibility, and at the same time be financially sustainable. The redesign of the Civic Centre would need to accommodate around 1,000 staff across the working week. Alongside this, we also needed a refreshed IT strategy and investment in suitable IT kit in order to make the changes work. The principal drivers of this programme of work were to redesign the interior of Keynsham Civic Centre to support a modern, productive and flexible way of working, change the working culture by reducing team space to encourage increased collaboration between teams, promote and support a better work-life balance for our staff, equip staff with the right technology to improve efficiency and to support flexible working and increase productivity, and to engage with staff to ensure the changes were embedded. There were also some financial drivers, which were to reduce travel between office buildings for meetings, as these could now be held virtually, and support the council's financial pressures and release corporate estate as a significant revenue opportunity. So we engaged architects in February 21. We went through the concept design phase, the technical design stages, and construction started in December 21. To change the working culture at the council, it was really important to have a staff engagement strategy in place, and OD and comms were really key to the process. And this included the creation of a service user group involving staff and trade union representatives from across the organisation. Through multiple design workshops, they were fully involved in developing the concept redesign plans for the Civic Centre, and they signed off the finalised designs. We also met our staff equalities groups to ensure their views were heard. We provided really regular updates to the management team. We held head of service workshops. In addition, a series of engagement sessions by the chief exec took place from July 2020 to ensure staff were prepared for a completely new way of working and a change of working culture when they returned to the building. We sent out monthly staff newsletters. There was loads of information on our intranet pages, and we held numerous meetings with all teams and invited comment and feedback. And staff were also able to email questions to a dedicated inbox. And there were, of course, some teams who were resistant to the change. So we regularly attended team meetings and met with key individuals as well as trade unions to discuss the new ways of working, highlighting the benefits and addressing concerns. We had many meetings to plan team space, lockers, storage, and we had to get all the teams back into the building to do a huge clear out, send paperwork off to storage and bin mountains of unwanted items to include many, many boxes of Christmas decoration. A blended working charter was developed to illustrate how staff would work in the future, so that staff would have the best of both worlds, a choice in their working lives which complemented their work and enhanced their work-life balance. A quality impact assessment was carried out and a set of principles were followed to minimise any carbon emissions impact. The council's sustainability team were consulted throughout the life cycle of the project. As we neared reopening the building, a programme of service engagement was put in place, led by an engagement programme manager and service representatives as change champions. The engagement sessions included staff briefings, videos, manager team briefing packs and surveys. And we held presentations showing the new space, and we conducted tours for new starters and for our disabled staff group. And we finally got to our opening day, which was the 16th of June 2022, and I can assure you that it was right down to the wire, and we were still moving furniture on that final day. So right from the start, we were clear that there were a set of principles that we'd follow and not compromise on. And this was all about creating spaces for staff to meet and to collaborate and stop the mentality of some floors of the building being only for particular teams, therefore breaking down silos. So we now have collaboration zones of different sizes, complete with hybrid meeting technology for team meetings, one-to-ones and inter-service meetings to take place. We have an inviting self-service entrance lobby with a waiting area and meeting tables, and a new digital visitor management system introduced to enable visitors to self-serve when they arrive, meaning we don't need a receptionist anymore. This area is also ideal for meetings with external partners, as you don't need to take them into the main building. There are still lots of meeting rooms, but they're all hybrid meeting technology enabled now, and there are a further 10 small one-to-one rooms. There is a small team space for each team that wanted one, and some teams were happy without, on large open plan floors to encourage interaction between teams. And these are based on 25% of a team's headcount, so one desk for 4 people. And we have new large airy refreshment areas to replace the small end of floor kitchens to encourage staff to come together to meet over coffee or lunch, both for work purposes as well as social interaction. So I'm now going to hand over to Tracy, who'll give you a bit more detail and show you some of the photos of our spaces.
Thank you, Amanda. Firstly, as Amanda said, creating that ability to collaborate together was integral to the whole new design. So this is a picture of one of those spaces. We now have 2 really large collaboration areas, one called the common room, which is a huge floor plate we've converted from team desking into 20 separate collaboration spaces, and then a smaller one called the forum with another 10 spaces. In these collaboration spaces and the key informal spaces, we've installed hundreds of ceiling baffles to help dampen the noise, which has really been helpful. There are also neat boards, screens available at some of the spaces that you can book with your space if you want to have a hybrid meeting or cast information from your laptop. And importantly, there are tables of really varying different sizes and heights to suit everybody's needs and the type of meeting that might be taking place. And we've also bought lots of really large movable soundproof screens so that you can partition off the areas to create a certain level of privacy as well. Some of the tables have a lower table and a high end so that you can even stand up and have a meeting if you wish. And you can see hybrid meeting taking place there. This is our new entrance and waiting area that Amanda mentioned, complete with the V-Greet system. So it's completely self-service now, whereas previously we had a really large very large manned reception desk with imposing security barriers, which really wasn't very inviting. So we purposefully added lots of branding around the building, such as the graphics you can see here, which are scenes from around our district, to give much more welcoming and warm feel as you enter the building. Previously, the building was really lots of glass and wood and chrome with no real personality at all. So we've tried to give it an identity and bring it to life. This is the new vibrant food court area, which is above that reception area space you've just seen, and it blends both a service cafe and a self-service area together to create an informal meeting, working, or even a collaboration space. And as you can see, we've invested in two really very large trees, which really bring the space to life. And again, I've used all the graphics throughout with bold colour schemes to complement each of our values, which are displayed in this area, loud and proud. Here you can see the cafe, which is at the far end, and the large self-service area, which is complete with lots of dishwashers, sinks, milk dispensers, which we provide for the staff, fridges and microwaves. And this is the only area that we do have the microwaves. We've made the decision to ask staff not to eat at their desks at all, but to use the many refreshment areas instead. Also to encourage staff to take an all-important break and keep the desk and collaboration spaces clean for our other colleagues. Additionally, there are two other key refreshment areas on the second and third floors. We've removed all the really old, very small tea points that used to be in every corner of the floor plates to make more inviting central tea points instead, to encourage that collaboration and discussion and time together with colleagues. Behind the slatted bar there that you can see is the kitchen area, and that on the right is where it is with the zip taps for hot and cold water, more dishwashers and sinks. And we've provided branded mugs and glasses as well as milk dispensers. So you just need to bring your own tea and coffee with you. And the colours in these tea points reflect the colours of the furniture, and we've used on those floors to try and make them distinct so that you know which floor you're on and you can arrange to meet people on those floors. So we also wanted to create a more dedicated learning and development suite to avoid fighting for room bookings, just to do those important training and development sessions. We've resolved some of the equalities issues that we had previously with the building to include the addition of a multi-purpose faith room. Further adaptations have been made to the washroom facilities as well. And we've also been providing easier ways to identify the floors by using colour and really clear navigation across the building. And we've installed some braille wayfinding points on the staircases as well. We have a large number of bookable hot desks for use in between meetings, which can be booked near other team members. You can quite easily see who's sitting where, just for the day or for the odd hour or whatever you need. We've increased our shower facilities as well, adding some non-gender facilities to encourage a sustainable commute to work, along with additional new secure cycle rack within the building, as well as the old cycle racks outside the building to encourage cycling to work. As previously mentioned, graphics is illustrating scenes from the area and branding depicting the corporate strategy and the staff values, create a sense of identity, pride and belonging. So we have created many different types of spaces to try and satisfy all staff's needs and, as I said before, the types of meetings that you might have. Those old end floor tea points have now been converted into these small call booths. So the idea is that if you need to do a Teams call or a telephone call, you just move from your desk into one of those booths and have a more private conversation and don't disturb those around you. We also have a couple of fully contained phone boxes in the team space areas, which are fully soundproofed. And we have some individual booths, as you can see above there, complete with swing desks, and they're on the mezzanine floors where you can do some work or just take a call. As I said earlier, branding has been really key to the transformation of the building. All our meeting rooms have our vision statement of improving people's lives on the glass and branded with the colour of the floor plate so that you know actually which floor you're on. We have wallpaper graphics of the scenes of Baines throughout the building, and we have our corporate strategy logo in the stairwells that you can see up there on the left. We've also provided maps and wayfinding diagrams on each of the floor, again in the colour of that floor, so you know which floor plate you're on, and you'll know everywhere to find everything, which we didn't have that before. We've also now got clearly labelled printing stations, which have been reduced to just 3, 1 on each floor, to encourage minimal printing, really. In terms of technology, all staff, as Amanda said, were issued with new laptops to enable them to work more flexibly. And an investment was made in the video conferencing neat boards, which were new to the market at the time, making it much more easy to hold effective hybrid meetings, where some staff in the office and others are connected from home or elsewhere. This has been instrumental in promoting and enabling that flexible working. Our neat boards run Teams by default and use clever cameras to pick up everybody in the room and a high quality soundbar. And that creates a seamless virtual meeting experience as possible whether you're in the room or you're at home. And they also double up as interactive whiteboards to avoid people doing things on paper and the old traditional paper methods. We've refreshed and upgraded our Wi-Fi in the offices as part of the redesign and invested in soft phones, which you use via your laptop, which means we no longer have any desk phones whatsoever across the estate, and staff don't disturb each other when making those conversations. We've also launched a Condeco booking system for hot desks, collaboration spaces and the meeting rooms. You can access this online or via a really simple mobile app, making booking these resources even easier. And you can see actually where other team members have booked for the day, so you can book one close to somebody you might want to sit with. And Microsoft Teams has been rolled out, but we've still got lots to do to realise the full potentials of this software, and keeping up with it as it continues is an organisational priority for us. And finally from me, this is one of those portable neat boards I just mentioned, which comes with its inbuilt camera and soundbar. You just book the board by inviting it to the meeting along with your participants. And when you arrive, your name and your meeting appears on the screen, and you can join the meeting by just touching the screen. In all our meeting rooms, we also have 2 screens on the wall, so that one, you can see those who've joined from home, and on the other, you can simply and easily share information, or if you have an image, and you have an image of everybody in the room. So it really does feel like one meeting with everybody in the same place. This is a screenshot of the app to book those spaces and the desks. It really is very simple to use, and you just check into your space or your desk within an hour of booking it by scanning a QR code, which is on the desks of each of the spaces, on the hot desk spaces. And then if you don't check in, then it's released back to the system so other people can book it. So it really is an incentive to ensure people book properly. And here you can see an example of one of those private booths that swivels around, so that you can be very private, even in one of our open and informal spaces if you want to.
Okay, thanks ever so much, Tracy. So just to finish off, these are some of the challenges we faced along the way. We really did underestimate how different teams work in different ways. And we quickly learned that one size can't fit all. So whilst we had our principles in place, we needed to coach and guide teams to get a level of acceptance of the change. Every team mentioned they had confidential conversations. I don't think there was one team that didn't. So we had to be really mindful to create those options in the redesign. It has been a challenge to encourage teams to use the collaboration spaces rather than book meeting rooms, as their natural inclination really is to be behind closed doors. But we really have made some significant headway on this now. Some teams have really struggled to go paperless and not having as much storage as they had before, but many others relish the opportunity to have a good clear out and have embraced the minimalist look. We had a period of lockergate, as you can imagine, when staff realised they wouldn't all have their own lockers, but it's calmed down now and they're happily sharing with each other or not needing one at all. We've had some difficulty with the no eating at your desk rule, as you can imagine, but staff are now beginning to police it themselves as they don't want to turn up to a desk littered with crumbs. But the main issue that we've had is getting staff back into the building. At the start of the programme, we had staff desperate to be back and many comments that such a small amount of team space wouldn't work. But since we have been back, we've never been completely full. However, the feedback from staff has been unfailingly positive when they do come in, and feedback gathered earlier on this year suggests that changes have been overwhelmingly well received and staff have embraced the new working culture. Many have said how proud they are to work in such an innovative environment and that their productivity, their ability to collaborate and interact with colleagues across the organisation has very much increased. So a staff survey was launched in January 2023 and to measure the impact of the redesign 6 months after opening, and over 700 staff responded. And the results showed that 87% of staff felt informed about the changes that were being made to the Civic Centre prior to reopening in June 2022. 95% of staff agreed that they felt confident working flexibly. 77% of staff agreed that the changes to technology, including the hybrid meeting room and equipment in the building, supports productivity, and 91% of staff agree that working flexibly supports them to achieve a better work-life balance. And when asked to describe their experience of working in the building using 3 words or less, this is what they said, with the larger words of productive, flexible, collaborative, along with comfortable and modern being the most common themes. So I'd just like to end on a slide showing some of the great feedback that we received from our staff. It's great to have the facilities to securely store my bike, shower and change comfortably, dry my clothes and eat good food on site. Today we had a Mental Health Alliance meeting with providers and partners, with some dialing in and others around the table. Everything worked exceptionally well. I've now fully embraced hybrid working, spending 3 days at home and 2 days in the office each week. And finally, the main team space desk areas are really nice, spacious feeling and nicely decorated, good acoustics, the IT is good quality, work perfectly, and overall, it's certainly the best office I've ever worked in. We're really lucky to have such a nice facility. That's definitely my favourite quote. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I think it's really showing what can be done to provide that flexible working for staff and just the general hybrid work, and just making it easy for everyone to be able to do that. So yeah, well done. It looks amazing. I mean, I'd be happy to go to work there.
You're welcome anytime to visit.
If anyone's got any questions, if you want to pop them in the chat, or feel free to pop your camera on and ask them. We've got a couple more minutes left if you did have any questions.
I'm just happy to extend an invitation, actually. If anybody would like to come and visit and come and see around the building, then please just get hold of myself or Tracy and we'll arrange that for you.
So Caroline's just said, congratulations. It looks like it has been a great project with great outcomes. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So I don't think there are any questions.
No, okay.
Is there anything else that you feel that you'd like to add, or?
No, I think we can leave it there. That's fine.
Well, thank you very much, Amanda and Tracy. It's been brilliant to see inside the changes and all the renovations, and hopefully, a year on, hopefully it's all working smoothly and working as you intended it to.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.